Welcome everyone, I'm Mr. Eves, and today we will divide decimals by whole numbers. This is our objective. And so to help us achieve our objective, we're going to use this worksheet. It says, what is used for astronaut sandwiches? Do each exercise and find your answer in the rocket. Cross out the letters next to each correct answer. When you finish, the answer to the title question will remain. For exercises 1 through 5, round to the nearest tenth. So that's our key right here, rounding to the nearest tenth. And so to start off, on number 1, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring that decimal straight up. That's the only difference between regular division and division by decimals and whole numbers. And so whenever we divide whole numbers into decimals, only thing we got to do is bring that decimal straight up. And so we forget about it and we divide like normal. 8 goes into 29 3 times. And I know that 3 times 8 is 24. And I'm going to go ahead and subtract. So 24 from 29, and that gives me 5 left over. I'm going to go ahead and bring my 8 down. And 8 goes into 58. How many times? Well, I know 8 times 7 is 56, so 7 times 8, 56. I'm going to subtract, which gives me 2 left over, and I'm going to bring down the 5. 8 goes into 25. Well, I know it goes 24 times from the previous time right here, so we know it goes 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24, and we're going to go ahead and subtract 1 left over. We could keep taking this out if we added more zeros, but we're not going to because we only need to round to the nearest tenth. And so when we go 2 spots after the decimal, that's going to help us round. Now remember, when we round, we look back on the previous one. So if we're rounding to the tenths, we're going to look back on the hundredths. So we look back, and the 3, remember a little quick rule that if it's 5 or larger, we're going to round it up. 4 or less, we're going to round down. So just remember that. Well, this is 4 or less, and so this is going to round down to 3.7. Now you're going to notice I put it at the bottom because I ran out of room. Now the next thing you would do is you'd come over here and find it on your chart and cross out the letter that it matches with. But since it's not showing up on this top half, I'm not going to worry about it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take number 2, and the very first thing I'm going to do is bring my decimal straight up. Then I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 5 go into 31? Now I don't ask how many times 5 goes into 3 because I know it doesn't go into it. So I go to the next number. 5 into 31 goes 6 times because 6 times 5 is 30. I'm going to subtract, and so that's 1 left over, and I'm going to bring down my 4. 5 goes into 14 2 times, and so 2 times 5 is 10. I subtract, gives me 4 left over, and I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 7. 5 goes into 47 9 times, which is 45. I'm going to subtract. I have 2 left over. Now once again I have it left over, but I went 2 spots after the decimal so I can round. So I look back from the 2 to the 9, and I notice that it is greater than 5, and so we're going to round that up to 6.3. Now we're going to notice over here off to the side 6.3 is right here, and so I'm going to go ahead and X out the letter right next to it. Now, number 3, very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that decimal straight up. And so I go straight up. Then I say, how many times does 4 go into 18? Well, I know it goes 4 times because 4 times 4 is 16. Go ahead and subtract. 2's left over. Bring down the 1. 4 goes into 21 5 times because 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract. Leaves me with 1 left over. Now, I can't stop right here. I need to add a placeholder, add a 0, and bring it down. Now the reason why I do this is so I can go to the hundredths place. So I add a 0, bring it down, so 4 goes into 10 2 times, and so 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, 2 left over. Now you're going to notice once again that I still have remainders, and so I could add more zeros until it finished out if it ever did. Now the nice thing is we're going to see that for this to continue on, we need to round. And so we're going to look back. The 5 looks back on the 2, and 2 is less than 5. And so remember, 4 or less, we're going to round it down. So this is going to be 4.5. Now, this is just a quick little overview of dividing decimals by whole numbers. It's really simple. Once again, we're just going to go through the process. We're going to bring the decimal straight up. Once we've done that, we're going to divide, then we're going to multiply, then we're going to subtract, bring down, and then repeat if necessary. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. This is brought to you once again by Mr. Eves. And go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which can be found at the Mr. Eves channel on YouTube. If you have any questions about the homework, go ahead and post it on the Help tab on MrEves.com. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and have a great day.